I think we're ready to start in about 5 seconds or so. I just want to make sure that we're on time for the people who. Um, okay, Aditi, you're good to go?
Absolutely. Let's go already.
Okay, great. All right. So, thank you all for being here. This is one of our regular Friday evening TuneCore Live Sessions, and this time I'm really excited because we're doing it with Triller. Um, Triller has paved a new way, a new path for musicians to achieve online stardom, and has opened the doors for like many new opportunities, like sponsorships, labels, fans, etc. And I think the world has finally caught on to what Indian audiences have always known, that the visual appeal of music is just as as important as the audio appeal. When an app like Triller allows artists to promote music accompanied with videos without the need of spending thousands, and you don't need to make elaborate videos, and here you're allowed to do that while expressing yourself in the most unique and creative way possible. And like every other platform, of course, Triller has its own features, tools, and best practices, and that's what we're here today to get into. So, how does a musician, make Triller as part of their promotional arsenal to promote their music? Like, there's no one better to get us into this as Aditi. Aditi is Director of Strategic Partnerships and Special Projects for Triller India. And I've known Aditi for a very, very long time and in seven different roles. So, Aditi, what? Events head at Saregama, head of IFA for India. You were the force behind Femina Miss India, the IPL opening ceremony, the Ghana Music Festival. Means there's an industry standard. If you want something done well, you just give Aditi a call. So here we are. Thanks for being here, Aditi.
Enough already. Thanks, Hina. And needless to say, we are friends for what? Almost 2 decades now. And we've
Don't
met.
tell people that.
Okay, delete.
Delete.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been a great journey to kind of move from the live event space to this online digital space, I think. And this is here to stay. Yeah, I think Triller came to India back in 2020, in July or August, and it's here to stay. If you're on Triller, you get a global access of audience of about 350 million, which is spread over what 50 countries, including the US, the UK, India, of course, Africa, LATAM. I mean, we're everywhere. So yeah, I mean that's Triller for you, and I think for the music folks who are here, probably listening, I think it all starts with culture. Triller from its inception has culture going all the way, and then we have a solid tagline to us, which is "You do you," which makes it unique for everyone who's on Triller, right? Be it musicians, be it influencers across various walks of life, of course. It also gives you a global platform because you're not just in India, but you've got a bandwidth that goes fully global. I mean, that's a huge advantage of being on Triller. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I have I know that Triller is for everybody. And I understand, the importance and the globality of it. And that's why we wanted to do this session. And this particular session is skewed towards musicians because that is our base. That's the lot that we're always looking out for. And we want to make sure that they're always given the tools, to succeed. So that's the thing. So we know that Triller has been described as the app that democratizes the music video creation process. How would you describe Triller for the artist watching?
I mean, so besides, of course, the professional jargon of it being, an AI app that makes it unique. I mean, all your edits are unique. The more you try on, the different the outcome would be than a regular app where you're deciding. This app helps you decide and line up, your visuals as per even the song that you're uploading, right? So whether it's an OG's track or if it's a music video which already has a track ingested, all your edits will come out beautifully and different. which is so unique about the app, right? And there are features like the MXX, which makes you even jam tracks, right? You don't have it on any other apps. So, I mean, that's also extremely unique. You can do it when you upload an OG sound video, or you can choose from the gallery, I mean, the playlists, the catalog that is resting on Triller, and mix up tracks as well. So, I mean, that's a huge potential, which is what also makes it different. Yeah, the
Mm,
product is extremely premium. It's extremely premium looking as well. It's not one of your run of the mill, you know,
mm.
nonsense that you see these days. It's extremely premium looking as well, which, I mean, I take big pride in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I noticed that a thriller video looks like a thriller video. It has this stamp of the artist, of course, but it also has a polish that you don't normally see.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think that the fact that you have the library to choose from, your own stuff plus whatever else is available makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And how do you think Triller is more in tune with musicians in particular, and our industry over other video apps?
Right. So, I mean, Triller is a music first app. I always say that in all my pitches as well. We're at the forefront of the music fraternity, at least, and in so many ways. We've got a beautiful back end partnership with the Billboard charts, right? They're called the Triller Global Billboard charts. We've now acquired, as of this year, a huge IP called the Verses, which is about musicians. I mean, it is a COVID baby. It started off in the US between Swiss Beats and Timbaland. I mean, they don't need any introduction. They were bored sitting at home, start to jam. And then slowly it became this cultural phenomenon, so to speak. Yeah. And more friends and family of theirs in the music space kind of jumped onto it. It grew. Triller acquired it. We upped the production, so it's a friendly face-off battle between two artists going for it. Lots of bragging, lots of ranting on stage, but also putting forth 20 of their most iconic legacy platinum songs, uh, which at least two or more generations can not just sing but dance to. I mean, so that's also the beauty. So we absolutely encourage the music folks, especially. In fact, we are also running an IP right now, which is the Triller Icons, which has music as one of its primary categories. It's called the
Mm.
Triller Music Icon. It's running. We are giving away big prizes. I mean, what, 50 lakhs? I mean, there are cruise trips to be won, there are PO pods, there are Amazon vouchers. I mean, so we're also encouraging that community to come on Triller and create something new, unique, and different.
Man, to be a musician today.
I know.
It sounds like a lot. No, but I love the fact that your newly acquired IP is like a dance off of old. And you just moved it into the music space and you just, like repackaged it and
Yeah.
polished it, and here we are. But that's really cool. But you did touch upon the Billboard and Triller partnership and the weekly top Triller US global chart. Can I ask? It's really interesting, but I want to understand the relevance in particular and the impact it will have on the Indian musician. How do they partake? How do they feature? What's the right terminology for feature?
I
Right?
think that
Is that
that's a great question, Hina. It's definitely one of the biggest feathers in our cap. Um, you've got these brilliant musicians in India. There's no dearth, and I'm talking about not just the top league. I mean, it runs down, and there's so many talented people. When they come on to Triller, and this is based on an algorithm, it's not even anybody deciding in one silly office. So based on an algorithm, when the song starts to trend, and more videos start to get created, and then the song of course gets playlisted. I mean, there's so many different pointers to it, views, engagement. The Billboard algorithm picks it up, and we get a surprise every week. Oh wow, so this song has reached, and you cannot anticipate it, you can't assure anyone. We've got artists like AR Rahman, who came on to Triller, and his song Veere Khade went straight to number one, which was assumable, like he's A.R. Rahman, right?
Hmm.
But we recently did a campaign with Sukriti Prakriti, and they're also really cool singers, right?
Hmm.
They did a song called Majnu with a label, and we were like, okay, let's start. And we started a campaign with them, a partnership campaign, and it went straight to the number one again. We did something with Jussie Gill right now, and from the last 3 weeks, it's unbelievable. I don't think it's happened. I will have to check, but I think it's a unique case that 3 weeks that an Indian song has remained on the top of the number one position. It refuses to leave. I mean, so that's what we do. We extend. Of course, these are big guys, big socially, I mean, big in
Hmm.
numbers. But for them, even this is very unique. And this is what the Billboard partnership means, right? So you extend the platform, take them global, and not only their songs then trend in the big cities here, but also in other, landmark thriller destinations. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you and me need to sit down and talk sometime soon about how we need to get our independent musicians onto
Absolutely.
the, yeah, because
Absolutely.
I understand that like everyone you've named, it's phenomenal that they're indie musicians and they're there. But I'd really like for us to figure out ways to represent the independent
Absolutely.
musician
We
and,
did
and
a
let them.
we did a really small campaign, Hina. This was, I think, for Women's Day. I think Nari, and a really good friend of mine who's also a musician, Abhijit, did a song for us. I mean, I was surprised that even that went to the Billboard. So, I mean, as long as there's merit in the song, of course, you need merit in the song. Not everything that you party on Triller comes to the number one position, right? So, I mean, you have to have merit in the song. The content has to be beautiful. Other people have to enjoy it because only then it'll become viral, right? So, definitely, I mean, we should. I mean, look at a pool where we do a campaign just between your curated list of music folks and do something exciting with them, and then ensure that reach the numbers we target,
Yeah,
taking
and
them to
and
that position.
and absolutely. And I just want to ask a little more about, you said merit. Of course, the track needs to be amazing. It needs to get picked up and stuff. But what do you think was what was it about Abhijit's track that helped it get to that number one position? Like, what else did work
I
went
think it
around
was
it?
just the entire campaign as well, because we timed it at a very strategic. I mean, we timed it at Women's Day, right?
Hmm.
And then our entire endeavor in that month was to
Hmm.
push out women-centric content out.
Yeah,
I think that's where it picked out, right?
right. So
I
it
mean, you
helped
can
connect.
decide these campaigns. The campaigns you can design, right? You can go to the drawing
Hmm.
board and you can figure, okay, we're going to do this, and this is the pool of talent that you'll work with, and then the talent gives you expected great content, and
Hmm.
yeah, then there's no stopping.
Absolutely. And from an audience perspective, can you tell us a little bit how music discovery works on Triller? And I ask this because I'm trying to get the musician to understand what it is, how it works for the audience, like whoever he's targeting or whoever she's targeting. Um, what is it? What are the markers for music discovery on Triller?
Okay, so I mean, very simply, there are playlists, and we've got multiple playlists, and these are not even about the global playlist. I mean, they're
Hmm.
India specific playlists that we do. We do them, of course, with the big holidays. We do something around New Year's, Diwali, Holi. I mean, we do these. One is that music discovery. One is the other ones which are also part of the global one. So there's trendy, there's upcoming, there's featured. I mean, so once you go on to the app and then you start using it, you'll figure how it kind of reaches out and pans out to the audiences to then also create more content from that music piece.
Hmm.
Because I mean, that's what the short video app does, right? You put in one and it multiplies and it gives you back a million,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
is what you want.
Hmm.
Where now you see these reprise versions of these beautiful legacy songs, and people are doing it in their own ways as
Hmm.
well. And sometimes they get picked up too because they start getting popular because people start making content on those
Correct.
pieces, right? And it needn't be only just singing, it could be shairi, it could be just acoustic. I mean, you know, Yeah, just let your creativity run wild and take it from there.
Oh, that makes sense. And how can an artist like popularize his music or their music on Triller? Like, can you tell us about like artists like you told us about Abhijit, but what are the best practices that you've seen to popularize one's music on Triller?
Okay, so I think the first, I mean, the hygiene check would be post good quality content. Yeah. Um, by quality, I mean, it just has a lot of checklists. So, I mean, use a lapel mic, background clear. I mean, the things that look visually attractive as well. That's when look out for anything that we are promoting as a campaign as well, because that will also catapult your content to, get more reach, more impressions, from there on. I mean, for things to become success is what I'm saying. And by that, I mean, we run a lot of challenges. We run a lot of campaigns as well with the big guys. I mean, the big guys, of course, also then reshare your stories and posts. Yeah. So even for upcoming guys, we do this a lot. I mean, today, just today, we partnered with Sukhe, who's released a song called Coco. It's a mad party song. So, but also in our partnership with him, four or five of whoever these merited creators are will feature on his socials as well. I mean, so that's great visibility for a creator too, right? You're doing it, of course, for the love of music, but also for that little spotlight, you know, of course. I mean, so those challenges that keep running. So look out for those. What else? Trending challenges, good quality videos. Do more consistency also, Hina. I think that's a huge part. Keep at it. At some point, the algorithm will notice you, and there is, of course, a full 100% chance of your content being noticed, not just by the algorithm, but also seen by the entire user base. Yeah,
Cool. So we're saying quality, we're saying keep an eye out for trends that are happening on Triller, and we're saying what was the
consistency.
third one? Consistency. That is like the key word, honestly. And I think consistency has to happen not just when you're releasing something, but it has to happen consistently, for the lack of a better word. But yeah, it just has to be like
Pretty
even
much.
when you're even when you're like building, even when you're there are no off days for a musician. I've always believed
Yeah,
that everything else is either a run up or a run down from a release.
true.
So you have to keep that consistency going across all social platforms. Chillers, so different as far as that's concerned. Um, Tasteful quality product has to come out because that's what people expect now from you. And you're playing amongst your peers, and you have to be better. You have to be different. You have to be uniquely you. You do you, as Triller
You
says.
do
So that's
you. And
pretty cool.
also, I think with Solo, you don't, it's not that 15 seconds of fame. Also,
Right.
there's this huge feature that lets you upload up to 10 minutes of content.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I mean, run wild and go for it, is what I'd say.
That makes sense. And how,
Cross.
as an artist, so sorry.
No,
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 and I was
no.
asking, and how does an artist make Triller their own? Like, like what are the tools? Like, if I go in as a musician, talk me through the process. Like, if I go in as a musician, brand new, not sure what to do, like, can you like talk us through the process? And also, if you could touch upon the importance of hashtags on Triller, because I know that that's really a
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very pertinent feature, and also
Hashtag.
about getting verified. Those are the two things that I definitely would
Yeah,
like
so
to touch upon.
hashtags are everything. Hashtags make you part of a community. Hashtags also are a great search engine tool for anything that you're doing on Triller. Yeah. Like I was saying, campaigns, songs, anything that goes viral. Hashtag, of course, is a huge part of this.
Right.
What was your first part of the question? Sorry.
No, I was basically asking like, how do I make Triller my own? Like, if I was
Okay.
the artist, like, what's the process? Just run me through it, touching
Right.
upon
It's very
verification
simple. Go on to
and
the Play Store, Google Play. I mean, just download the app first off and use the features. I mean, I was very apprehensive initially when I joined, I think a year ago. And you can't imagine how easy it is, right? It's amazing. It's like ABC, and you'll know it, right? As soon as you start posting content and let the app work for you. And each user has their own unique content because of that AI feature. You know, I don't know if I can explain it in words, but I think it's something that you have to experience for it to transpire into a result. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And use the features. It's all on the app. It's a very simple. I mean, it's dummies for Triller. It's nothing. Just go onto the app, enjoy, post content, shoot content on Triller. I mean, a lot of people we recommend to these artists as well that don't use our camera and reload it, upload it later onto the app. Use
Mm,
the camera of Triller because I mean, you've got filters, you've got effects, you've got edit options. You can shuffle edits, which you don't get on usually on other apps as well, right?
mm, mm.
There is, like I told you, the music feature. So I mean, the more you'll play with it, the more Triller will be yours as well. So yeah,
Yeah. No,
that's
that
it.
makes sense. No, that does make sense. And so I think the best thing to do essentially is just use the interface, get used
Yes,
to it, um, and just explore essentially. And
yes,
like I think you and me are far more apprehensive about new tech than a lot of my artists.
yeah,
They're geniuses. I learn new things from them every day.
absolutely.
And I think what's really cool is that they're all willing. They're all willing to try new things, and they understand that as independent musicians, the ball is firmly in their court, and they have to explore. So I think having an interface that's that simple to maneuver would be a big plus for artists. So yeah, I can only ask them to go and check it out and make sure that they use the features. And this was interesting about the filters and stuff and about using the camera. So okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense. And so that was the process of creating the video and using the tools to actually make the video and stuff. But how do I maximize my release and how do I promote on Twitter? Is there anything you can do? Like, is there like fan engagement I can get into, getting into people's, like chatting with them? How does it work? Like, how would I do that?
Absolutely. DMs are possible on Triller. So building your community, use your social cloud in and out from the app. So the app's also agnostic of other social media handles, right? So bring your, I mean, cross pollinate your cloud, which builds a community at the end, right? Latch on to hashtags, latch on to campaigns that are running. Yeah, I mean, those are the ways that even we'll see you. I mean, we've got a huge back end content team watching you all as well, right?
Right.
So the more you do that, I think, and about the verification, it's pretty simple. I mean, you come to Triller, you start using it. We see I mean, there is a set parameter. You have to have so many videos. You have to cross pollinate on your other social media handles.
Mm,
There's a whole little playbook of sorts that once you come on board as a creator, I think at some point even the influencer management team will
mm,
start engaging with you. They'll also encourage and tell you what are the campaigns going on, so you become part of the roster, I think. Also, the more you
mm,
start using it,
mm.
yeah.
Okay. And so there are two questions that I want to ask you off the back of what you just said. One is that you said the playbook. You mentioned a playbook. Is that playbook available to
Yes,
artists? It is. And
absolutely,
okay. And
absolutely.
if
It's
you
on
if you
our
can drop
social.
a
I think it's on our social.
excellent.
If it's not, I will ask the social team to post it. Or, I
Great.
mean, we can leave a link with you as well to
That sounds
share
good.
with
If
this.
you could,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. If you could share a link to that playbook. And another thing that you mentioned was about the cross pollination. Like a lot of artists, what happens is they've built a community on other apps like Instagram, for instance. They've got so that's on social apps, but then they also have like a huge follower base on Apple or Spotify. Is there a way to cross pollinate that, and how simple is it? Because I think what happens is a bit daunting as a musician when you get onto an app and you realize that, oh my god, I've got to start from scratch. So if you're
Yes.
saying that it's possible to already lean
Yes.
into that network, okay.
Yes, it's possible. I mean, to answer to that, I would say don't hatch all your eggs in one basket. Look at what happened to TikTok, right? I mean, it got banned, so you
Mm,
lost your entire community, right?
mm,
You're back to zero and you started from Instagram. I'm just saying that plant different eggs in different baskets, and you can do it simultaneously. Triller doesn't tell you don't go to Instagram, neither does
Hmm.
Instagram, right? So I'm
Hmm.
just saying parallelly build, and it is an effort. You didn't
Hmm.
go to another app with 1 million followers or
Absolutely.
500,000 followers. You started at scratch, which is what we encourage even the guys here to do. We've got big artists. I mean, AP Dhillon came to Triller and he had the same thing. I'm going to start at zero. I said, well, I mean, we don't, there is no other way to do it, to this, right? I mean, lots of us. Sidhu Moosewala, he's crazy fan engagement, right? He's like a cult in Punjab. He also started with one follower. That was me. Number one was me because I did that partnership, right? And then, of course, it grows. Yeah, people like
Hmm.
Aves, people like, I mean, they're crazy. Siddharth Nigam, oh my God, he's some 10 million on Instagram. He started at one with us as well. So, I mean, that's something that you have to take in your stride. I mean,
Yeah.
there are no shortcuts to
Hmm.
that growth. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, and while it is what it is for sure, but also it seems like it is simpler to bring them over. So I like the idea of that. I like the idea that you can bring your fans with you and you're exposing them to a new facet
Yeah.
of who you are and all of that. That's pretty cool. And if I were to ask, and I ask this because I have a lot of musicians who will come to me and say, "How do I be successful? Like, how do I?" And then I ask them, how do you define success? What does success mean to you? Like,
Well,
quantify it for me. And
yeah.
that's why I want to ask you, how do I as a musician quantify or measure that popularity and success on Triller? Like, how is it? It's on views, is it a number of
The number
UGCs,
of
or how
plays.
does
Yeah. It's the same parameters here as well. I mean, it has to be the number of plays, it has to be the engagement, which is the views, comments, likes. It's the same. And it's also how you're building your community. So, that, of
right?
course, are parameters of success. Have you done something to be seen, like what we're doing in Icons, right? We're watching, everyone's putting out content. We've got thousands and thousands of entries over the last 1.5 weeks, and we are watching every entry, right? And then suddenly we pick up only 15. And that is basis, of course, how you've cross pollinated across your other social media handles, your content quality, the number of views, likes. I mean, all of
Hmm.
those parameters count, right, for it to be a success. So, I mean, and that remains same with Triller as well. And if it was the bigger artists, of course, the mentions on Billboard, playlisting. I mean, those, of course, are parameters as well.
Makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. We're almost at time. I want to keep this down to 30 minutes just to, respect our audience's time and stuff. But I do want to open this out to question. We might go a little over, but happy to do that if you are, Aditi.
Yeah,
There's a
let's do it.
question. There's actually a question for me to begin with. Rohit asks the question. He says, "Thank you for hosting the session. So I have a few questions. I have a few songs which I released on TuneCore. And he says, great service. Thank you for that, Rohit. And he says, I didn't get too many plays. How do I market my music? Okay, Roy, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take time out of this particular session because this is really about Thriller. But if you just, skew through scroll through all the YouTube videos where I've done conversations with, people like Aditi in different platforms on different stores, just have a look at all of those things. There are many, many tips and tricks. Even on our website, there are lots and lots of tips and tricks not to definitely succeed, but definitely, a starting point. So whether it be your social media, whether it be, making sure that your stuff is out on with press and you are approaching bloggers and making sure that you're, um, distributing through a platform that is making you available on the maximum number of stores and so on and so forth. Of course, using tools like Spotify for music and so on and so forth, Spotify for artists, sorry, and so on and so forth. There are lots of tips and tricks. So just have a look at that, take some time and read through. It's always a great place to go. Um, Aditi, you have a few questions. There's someone here from Loud Beats asking anything for music labels on Triller.
Oh yeah, I mean, all of the music labels have their handles. Be it, of course, Believe, TuneCore has a handle on Triller now. Yeah, everyone, Sony, Universal, big and small. We've also onboarded smaller ones of recently. They see
Hmm.
melodies. coinage, benchmark. I mean, you name it, we have them. Of course, come on, Triller, make your account. And let's create some noise. Bring your artist. That's a big one. So for any smaller label, I mean, the big push would come from the artist, right? And that's what will get you eyeballs as well. Like Desi Melodies got us Hardy Sandhu. Oh my God, that song, Bijli, that also went to the number one. And now they've got us another song. So, I mean, of course, come with all your might, and we are happy to help you guys.
Absolutely. And Rupanshi has a question. She asked, how can artists partner with Triller for cross promotion? I know you mentioned that a lot of that already, but if you want to, yeah.
I did. Artists can, of course, promote their songs, albums. We're also doing not just one-off deals. We're doing multiple album deals. I mean, we cover 3 or 4 songs, so it's like a longish campaign, which also helps you recall the song. The artist gets the spotlight for a longer duration as well. We did that for Sidhu Moosewala. Yeah, his Moose Tape songs I can't even pronounce, but they raged on the app and house. So yeah, good
That's
one.
pretty cool. And I think Rupanshi has a follow-up question. She says, what visibility and incentives does Triller offer to micro influencers?
Lots. I mean, we work with micro influencers, nano influencers, big ones. Depends on which category. And this specifically for being for music, we have, I think, a very good community on Triller. So, I mean, the first step being open your accounts, start putting content, start coming out with it, make Triller your own. And I think most importantly, you do you. And we're happy to kind of handhold and, have this beautiful journey of taking you to the world.
Yeah, that's really cool. No, and I think that's we have a lot more questions, but I think we're at time. So just wanted to say that, thanks, Aditi, thanks for being here. And to our artists, this one is all about you. We hope the session's been informative, and we really hope to see more of you in Triller. Aditi, any parting words for our
Thank
musicians?
you. Thank you. No, I've given all my good words already. Just gonna say, come have some fun. It's all about fun, guys.
That's lovely. All right, thank you all for being here. Have a really good weekend. We hope this has been helpful, and see you in Triller.
See you on Triller. Bye.